Hello everyone, MarkyJoe1990 here, and I'm just gonna end this video with a few of my feelings and opinions of Elibean Nights so far, and a few of the glitches and all that stuff. Now, I'm just gonna start by saying that I don't dislike this hack. I think it's actually pretty good. The problem is it has plot holes, and there are some design decisions that I don't agree with. Tail 3 ambush spawning. I'll start with the plot holes. First one being in Tale 1. At the end of Tale 1, Eleonora is so sick that she dies, right? Now, here's where I start to wonder, right? If she becomes so sick that she dies, how sick was she at the beginning of the tale? Like, if she was this close to dying from sickness, don't you think she'd be doing things like puking and coughing a lot? She didn't even make any coughing noises or anything during that, and, you know, considering the illness seems to be that severe, you'd think that it just doesn't seem realistic. It seems like, oh, I'm sick, but I'm not really showing any signs of it whatsoever. Like, a lot of people who are very sick to the point where it's terminal, they don't look so good. They're not only not just pale, they're not only pale like Eleonora was, but a lot of shit happens. And what kind of bothers me is that Eliud doesn't seem to be doing anything particularly important at the moment. That is, until the bandits show up. Why doesn't he just spend time with Eleonora? I mean, assuming they were to find out that her illness is going to be killing her sometime soon, it would have been really cool if he actually spent some time with her for her last moments, and they had a very wonderful, like, moment together and stuff. That would have been really heartwarming and stuff. And, like, they probably should have been able to find out that she was just this sick. I mean, they suspected it, but it probably would have been more obvious, and that's what bothers me about it. Also, after Queen Eleonora dies, Ellie was just like, "Oh, I'll never give up. I'll move on and go to free." It's like, he's not even human anymore. When his father died, he cried and he mourned and he, lost control. He really felt terrible, but when Eleonora dies, he's like, "Oh, I got a country to take care of. I'd better take care of it." It's like, be human! You should have... it would have made more sense if Eliud lost control of himself and cried and stuff, and actually took some time to mourn. After all, Eleonora's his only remaining family left, and she just died. I mean, yes, he's got a place to take care of, but what about his own happiness? I mean, he even, in a support conversation with Fiora, he even tells Fiora this, like, why don't you be more concerned about your own happiness as well? Because if you're not happy, then how will the people you help be happy? It's like, what the hell, man? Give him some time to vent out his problems, and it just seems kind of stupid to me. Other problems I have with Tale 1, I think that Tale 1 is probably the most poorly designed gameplay-wise. Mainly because, first of all, the thieves. The thieves, when they go for the chests, they don't run off and go off screen and just, you can never get them back. They will actually look for all the doors and chests and try to open all of them. This includes the ones that lead to Eleonora's room and the one that leads to the Lobera sword. And you could use this to your advantage. You can wait for them to come close, kill them, and then you get the legendary weapons that they stole from the chest in the middle of the stage. So this kind of ruins the point of rushing the chapter. You can basically just take your time as much as you want. I don't really mind the ambush reinforcements as much, because I felt that the hints that was given was fair enough. And since you can pretty much just take your time with the chapter anyway, you're likely not going to be close enough where that happens. And I also learned that the Luna Druids, the ones with the Luna tome, you just need to have a bunch of people supporting you at the same time, and you'll pretty much not have to worry about getting criticaled. So that's not really a problem either. It's just the thieves and, well, the fact that you can just take your time. What else to it? I think that if you were to rescue Eleonora and reposition her from the spot that she normally stands, I think at the ending it might cause a glitch. I haven't tested this yet, but judging by how the events seem to be made, I'm assuming that that's a possibility. By the way, for those of you who haven't gotten the updated version of Elibean Nights, the nurse for Eleonora is now Natalie. I'll consider that plausible. I have no problems with that. It's just that the first tale has a huge plot hole and a very poor design decision, and I'm sure I'm sure General Archibald didn't see it at the time, so I'm not gonna hold it against him or anything. Anyway, now for Tale 2, which is probably the one I dislike the most. I feel that it has the most. I feel it has the poorest design of the three tales, and it also seems to have the most plot holes, namely with the characters being out of character. Well, just Raven, really. Now, I just did some research, and Raven, it's made clear in the story that Ostia is responsible for the destruction of Cornwall. However, in this hack, it's said that Arafin is responsible, and that Ostia simply did the funding. Now, I don't know what you're going with this hack, but if it sounds like you're trying to retcon a bit of the plot, just so we get to play as Raven, and that doesn't seem right. It kind of bothers me. And even if that was canon, I think in a few of the support conversations Raven has, he gets over it. He like decides, no, I don't want to have revenge anymore. I just want to move on with my life and become a mercenary. So that means that this is out of character for Raven, and he shouldn't even be there. And what really bothers me in terms of plot holes is he tries to pass it off that he's doing this for the sake of justice and not for revenge. This fucker, this Marquis Arafin, is responsible for ruining his entire family and his entire noble house. How can he not have ill will towards this guy? It's just completely not believable. And you know what I wanted Raven to say at the very end of the chapter? When Marquis Arafin was making fun of him for going for revenge, Raven should have just said, "Shut the fuck up, you monster! You took everything from me, and now I'm going to take..." Wait, no, even better. "You took the most important things from my life, and now I'm going to take away what's most important from you, yourself." Something along the lines of that. I think that would have been pretty badass. Then again, Lucius would have gotten on Raven's ass because it was out of vengeance and stuff. So really, this chapter just doesn't work at all. It just doesn't. Design-wise, I still don't like the fact that after you've killed the first group of nomads and paladins, everything else just remains stationary until you get close, and basically the chapter just becomes bait and switch. I do like that you actually made it so that we can open the chests this time in the update. but all we get is a spear and an elixir, and it's during the part of the chapter where it doesn't really matter anymore. The chapter's really not all that hard, so it's not like we really need these items, and who gives a shit about the elixir when we've got 2 healers that are fully capable of healing us? And since you can just take your time with the chapter, it's not like you're in a hurry to heal all of your health back, so the elixir really doesn't come into play at all. It just seems kind of pointless. The spear is kind of useless too, because honestly, you could just go through the entire chapter with Raven, Priscilla, and Lucius alone, so you don't really need Heath at all. And that's why I don't like that chapter very much at all. It feels very poorly put together, both plot and design wise. Then comes Tale 3. Honestly, design-wise, I feel it's the best of the 3. Though I still think that the design could have been better. As you saw in the videos I just showed you, General Archibald did in fact change a bit of it. He made it so that the dude, the boss dude, shows up at the beginning of the second turn, and that Florina shows up on the second turn. And he also changed the positioning of Guy and Dayan. I didn't show that in the video because, well, I wanted to show you guys the hilarious glitch. But basically, they're a lot closer now, and they're a bit more practical. There's also more enemy units. And, well, most of them are just Swordmasters and Secaans, honestly. The fact that there's mostly just Secaans and Swordmasters and, like, only, like, one warrior kind of bothers me, because the chapter seems to be lacking in unit variety. And, well, I know that the chapter that Secaans only have, like, nomads and myrmidons. Well, they're notorious for those, at least. But I just felt like you could have added a bit more variety. In terms of the plot, I can't really say anything's wrong with it. I just hate Lynn. I just hate Lynn. She wants to go back to the plains! At least that's what happens in most of her endings. Even though she has people in Caelin who she fucking cares about, and, you know, she should just stay at Caelin and rule the fucking... Well, then again, she would have to rule the place. But, like, that's another problem. Like, Lynn put Caelin under the control of Ostia. What happened? Did Hector say, like, oh, we don't want to do it, so you have to be the Marquise, or you gotta get the fuck out? You know what? That's kind of basically what Hector's doing. He's saying, either be the Marquise or get the fuck out of here. And that's really dickish. I just realized that. Hector! What the fuck? So that's not believable. Okay, so I just, right off the bat, just found a plot hole. Hope you're happy. Aside from these problems, the hack does show potential. It just needs to be polished up a bit more. While I'm at it, I should probably announce that I'm actually making a little, like, document stating all my chapter design theories and how to make good chapter design and good character balance and stuff. Be sure to look out for it. Because maybe some of the things I say will help. Like, I don't promise that's going to be fully reliable or anything, but I want to see what other people think when I release it. So, I think that's all I gotta say, so... Oh, run away!